All right, so today for poetry, you should be on lesson 6. It says poetry is fun to write. Have you ever thought you could write a poem by making a list? Have you ever thought you could take a list and make it into a poem? You can. Each of the poems you're going to read uses a list. Some are opposites, a list of opposites. Tortillas Like Africa begins with a story about Isaac and me making tortillas, but the middle 6 lines are a list of countries. The use of list is a different way that 2 poems are like. How are these 2 different? Some opposites has a regular rhythm of 8 or 9 beats per line. Also, every 2 lines of some opposites rhyme. So as you go, you're going to follow these directions down here as you read these poems. Opposites, tortillas, like Africa. And then when you get to this page, let me show you your version. That is my version. When you get to page 312, you're going to use your lined paper and answer all 4 numbers 1 through 4, because the number 5 is just writing your own poem. So you get to write your own rhyming poem for today, which is kind of cool. And then you will have one more poetry lesson tomorrow. I was going to read you a little bit of a book about poetry called Love That Dog by Sharon Creech. And it is about a little boy who he hates writing poetry, but he does. The whole book is poetry. So I'm going to see if we can read this today and tomorrow, and maybe I'll finish it on Wednesday. Jack, room 105, Miss Stretchberry. September 13th. I don't want to, because boys don't write poetry. Girls do. September 21st. I tried. Can't do it. Brain's empty. September 27th. I don't understand the poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens, and why so much depends upon them. If that's a poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens, then any words can be a poem. You've just got to make short lines. October 4th. Do you promise not to read it out loud? Do you promise not to put it on the board? Okay, here it is. But I don't like it. So much depends upon a blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road. October 10th. What do you mean? Why does so much depend upon a blue car? You didn't say before that I had to tell why. The wheelbarrow guy didn't tell why. October 17th. What was up with the Snowy Woods poem you read today? Why doesn't the person just keep going if he's got so many miles to go before he sleeps? Why do I have to tell more about the blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road? I don't want to write about the blue car that had miles to go before it slept. So many miles to go in such a hurry. October 24th. I'm sorry to say, I did not really understand the Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright poem, but at least it sounded good in my ears. Here's the blue car with tiger sounds. Blue car, shining bright in the darkness of the night. Who could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky? I could see you in the night, a blue car, blue car shining bright. I could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky. Some of the tiger sounds are still in my ears, like drums, beating. October 31st. Yes, you can put the 2 blue car poems on the board, but only if you don't put my name on them. November 6th. They look nice, typed up like that on blue paper, on a yellow board, but still don't tell anyone who wrote them, okay? And what does anonymous mean? Is it good? So here's what it looks like, a yellow background with blue words. November 9th. I don't have any pets, so I can't write about one. And especially, I can't write a poem about this one, or about one. Yes, I used to have a pet. I don't want to write about it. You're going to ask me? Why not, right? Pretend I still have that pet? Can't I make up a pet? A different one, like a tiger or a hamster, goldfish, turtle, snail, worm, flea? November 29th. I liked those small poems we read today. When they're small like that, you can read a whole bunch in a short time. And then in your head are all the pictures of all the small things from all the small poems. I liked how the kitten leaped in the cat poem, and how you could see the long head of the horse in the horse poem. And especially I liked the dog in the dog poem, because that's just how my yellow dog used to lie down, with his tongue all limp and his chin between his paws, and how he'd sometimes chomp at a fly and then sleep in his loose skin, just like that poet, Miss Valerie Worth, says in her small dog poem. December 4th. Why do you want to type up what I wrote about reading the small poems? It's not a poem, is it? I guess you can put it on the board if you want to, but don't put my name on it in case other people think it's not a poem. December 13th. I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that. I think maybe it would look better if there was more space between the lines, like how I wrote it the first time. I like the picture of the yellow dog you put beside it, but that's not how my yellow dog looked. January 10th. I really did not get the pasture poem you read today. I mean, somebody's going out to the pasture to clean the spring and to get the little tottery calf while he's out there, and he isn't going to be gone long, and he wants you? Who is you to come too? I mean, really. And you said that Mr. Robert Frost, who wrote about the pasture, was also the one who wrote about those snowy woods and the miles to go before he sleeps? Well, I think Mr. Robert Frost has a little too much time on his hands. January 17th. Remember the wheelbarrow poem you read the first week of school? Maybe the wheelbarrow poet was just making a picture with words, and someone else, like maybe his teacher, typed it up. Then people thought it was a poem, because it looked like one typed up like that. And maybe that's the same thing that happened with Mr. Robert Frost. Maybe he was just making pictures with words about the snowy woods and the pasture, and his teacher typed them up, and they looked like poems. So people thought they were poems, like how did with the blue car things and reading the small poems thing on the board. Typed up, they look like poems, and the other kids are looking at them, and they think they really are poems, and they're all saying, who wrote that? January 24th. We were going for a drive, and my father said, we won't be gone long. You come too. So I went. We drove and drove until we stopped at a red brick building with a sign in blue letters, Animal Protection Shelter. And inside we walked down a long cement path, past cages with all kinds of dogs, big, small, fat, skinny. Some of them hiding in the corner, but most of them barking, and jumping up against the wire cages we walked past, as if they were saying, me, choose me. I'm the best one. That's where we saw the yellow dog, standing against a cage with his paws curled around the wire, and his long red tongue hanging out, and his big black eyes looking a little sad, and his long tail wagging, as if he were saying, me, choose me. And we did. We chose him. And in the car, he put his head against my chest, wrapped his paws around my arm, as if he were saying, thank you. And the other dogs in the cages get killed dead if nobody chooses them. All right, I'm going to stop there today, but think about how he is talking about the dog now and what might be coming.